I want to take a look at the Monoprice 5-watt tube amp. Look at the website. This is basically what you see. And if you look at the number 611705, and then you look at what I got, and see if I can get a 611705, same number. What I got doesn't look like what they have on the website or on the manual, so I'm guessing there's a couple versions of this, and it's just kind of a crapshoot which one you get. Now, first off, I'm going to say that I didn't expect a whole lot out of this little amp because of the price. They sell these things, the whole amp, they sell for less than what it would cost me just to build the circuit. And when I first spotted these online, it, to be honest, kind of pissed me off, because I was like, how can they do the whole thing for less than I would spend on the major components? But I guess they do. So let's go start back around the front. And let's take a little look-see here. I'll start with, you got your typical like fake tweed covering, and it doesn't fit perfect, but this is an inexpensive amp. I don't expect perfection out of the cosmetic stuff, and I'm guessing this is a fiberboard or press board box. The handle is a really nice feeling leather type material. We'll call it a leatherette or something. It's a good sturdy handle. Corner covers, steel corner covers all the way around, top and bottom. Got rubber feet mounted to the bottom of it. Now on the other version of this, if I can get the stupid manual open, it's what the control panel looks like. You have a low input and a high input, low gain and high gain inputs. On this one, backed away from the mirror, you have a switch right here, push button switch. Out is 5 watt, in is 1 watt. That's what they call their attenuator. So one of the things I want to look at when I get inside is exactly how they're doing that. Are they just replacing the 2 inputs with the switch? And I know from the a lot of the old Fender circuits, the high and low gain input, the only difference between them is on the low gain input there is a resistor, somewhere between 60 and 100k resistor between the input jack and the grid of the preamp, whereas the high gain has a much lower resistor or no resistor at all. So what I want to do is I want to tear this apart. I'm going to take a good look inside. I don't plan on doing a playing review on this because I really don't play that well, and the camera on my phone, the microphone, tends to fart out when it gets around loud noises. So just have to see where it goes. Let me we'll stop the video for now, and I'll take the back cover off, and then we'll get back with it. Okay, I pulled the screws out of the back. Get this out of the way. Pop that off. And here, take a quick look. Have power transformer, output transformer, 12AX7 preamp, 6V6 power amp tube, and a Celestion 15-watt speaker. This is supposedly a 5-watt amp. This is an 8-ohm speaker. A lot of the small amps have a 4-ohm speaker in them. This is an 8-ohm. And this even has an external jack. Hook this up to a larger cabinet or something. As long as you have it between 8 and 16 ohms, you're good to go. Which, you know, on a 412 cabinet, this thing would probably sound awesome. It actually sounds pretty good with the little speaker it's got. Now, earlier, right after I got it, I did a web search on the numbers on the two transformers, and I came up with literally a million references to the Laney Cub 8. And when I looked at some demonstrations of that amp on the web, that pretty much is exactly what this amp sounds like. So this, I'm guessing, is a clone of the Laney Cub series amp, the smallest one, the 5-watt. So I'm going to take this chassis out and we're going to take a look behind it and see what we find in there. Okay, took me a little bit, but I got it out of there. Something to note: if you're going to pull the chassis out of one of these amps, you literally have to take the screws out of the front baffle and pull it up and back, because the chassis is pinched in there so tight you can't get it out with the baffle in place. Something else to note is this chrome piece on the front here is literally a chrome plate that is held in place by the various nuts on the front of the chassis. So if you don't want the chrome looking plate, you can pull that off, and I don't know if there's any markings underneath it or not, but here we go. Is the basic chassis itself. Move that damn cord out of the way, and there's your two tubes, power transformer, output transformer. Now, if you're curious and you want to look up the output transformer, there's the number, and power transformer. If you look those up like I did, you'll find a million references to the Laney Cub 8, which is a 5-watt amp, and I venture to say it's probably exactly what this thing is. Now, I think, let me put this camera down. I'm going to pull this one tube out before I flip it over. Put that down. I've got the tube out of it, so I can roll it upside down and we can take a look at what actually makes this thing tick. So we've got, give me a second here. So what we got is printed circuit board. I was expecting that, and some surface mount componentry. Move this stuff out of the way. Down there. I have to get find a schematic for this guy to be able to tell you exactly what is what. Down here is that switch I was talking about, the 5-watt 1-watt switch. And we have the two wires here, which are your channel wires, I'm guessing. And they feed right into, let's See what we got here. We got some component mount resistors. Looks like a 10K and a 2K, or a 2K2, which may be 200K. I have to look that up. And if you look, I hate to do this with a screwdriver, but if you look right here, R14, 1 meg, that is your resistor. It's always going from the input leg to ground, which gives you the 1 meg impedance overall. And looks like those 4 diodes right there are the rectifier circuit, which is why you don't have a 5Y3 in this little lamp. You don't need it. That saves them some money there. And capacitors, 470 ohm, 5 watt. I'm curious as to what exactly that is for. But overall, oh, you even have a fuse. Look at here. Pull it out. This is fuse protected. So if you ever have a problem with one of these and it just, it don't work at all, you want to look into that. Maybe the little fuse give up. Of course, that'll save you from blowing up half of the equipment in the amp if you do short something out. Now, you see, we got some numbers here. 5T 2016-1801, 2016-1805. Overall, very clean. It's not what I wouldn't expect out of a modern little amplifier. Now, if you're talking to yourself and saying, but it's not point-to-point wiring and all that other kind of stuff, of course, this is also not a $700 Fender or something like that. This is literally an amplifier you can buy for less than what it would cost, at least what it would cost me. Let me roll this back over. You can buy this entire amp for less than it would cost me to buy a power transformer, output transformer, tubes, sockets, resistors, capacitors, all that kind of stuff. Never mind buying a chassis, buying a speaker, and a box. This thing is a bargain, and I think that little chassis, I think that could make an excellent little tube head for a separate cabinet. And I'd be willing to bet, you know what, I think I'm going to have to pull this metal plate off just to see what's underneath. So give me a minute here and I'll pull this metal plate off and we'll see what's underneath this thing. Okay, for those so inclined that you may want to take one of these guys and turn it into your own little amp head that you want to put in your own custom box or something, this chrome plate on the front, after you disconnect everything, is held on the front with double-sided tape. So once you get all that glue pulled off, you've got a nice clean black surface. You could attach your own labeling, indications, whatever you wanted to do for that stuff. The the jewel light would have to literally be disconnected whether you want to, you know, cut them and solder them back together or however you want to do it, you'd have to literally disconnect this to be able to pull that out the front to get the cover, this chrome plate off, completely off. And this assembly pulls loose once you get the nuts off of it. You can pop that back in there. If you're able to get a schematic for one of these, then you can literally go with a switchcraft jack for it and upgrade the pots and do whatever else you wanted to. But I think this would be a great little customization platform to build, you know, a little boutique amp head out of, to have something that looks different, sounds good, unlike that train going by. But I think that's about all I've got on this one. So thanks for watching.